Hello all. Today we ask, who gets arrested under our racist criminal justice system? You've all heard of racial profiling, but do you know how bad it is? In 2012, Bobby Constantino, a former prosecutor, decided to see what it took to get a white man arrested in New York City. He walked around, publicly displaying implements that would land any black kid in handcuffs. He then used them to vandalize a public building. The police refused to engage with him at every step. He describes how he was discovered by a New York cop mid-vandalism who then drove away because he didn't know how to handle a white guy in a suit. Constantino was finally arrested on his 5th attempt at turning himself in. He ended up being punished disproportionately because the judge was made uncomfortable by the truth that he had revealed. The truth is this: the New York Police Department is not there to police white people. There are thousands of separate jurisdictions in the United States. They all have different missions. The police in the suburbs that I grew up in were genuinely there to serve and protect. They were certainly very good to me. In our great cities, the mission becomes more straightforward. Keep the poor people in line so everybody else can go about their business. The late Professor William J. Stuntz pointed out how the suburbs have contributed to less equal justice. Back before the 1950s, most people lived in the cities, and oppressed populations like the Italians and the Irish were eventually able to work their way into city government and into city police forces. This led to more equal enforcement. Today, however, you have suburbs that choose the police and prosecutors for the inner city. For most Americans, crime has become something that happens somewhere else. The decisions about enforcement and the populations carrying out that enforcement are often far removed from the actual victims of crime. Policing is more about quotas than it is about crime. There is just as much drug abuse in the suburbs as there is in the inner city. It's just easier to enforce drug laws in the inner city. Space is more public. Kids don't have private backyards, so they smoke pot in the street. If a police department is told to raise drug arrests, they head for the high-density neighborhoods where the poor people live and nobody can afford an expensive lawyer. It makes sense. And that's the real problem with our system. It's not that the people enforcing it are racist, it's just that they're not paying enough attention. Our system's racist outcomes only become obvious in the aggregate. They come about as the result of millions of individual decisions that seem like common sense. They only seem like common sense because of the structure of the system. If we are ever going to change, we need to begin to look beyond the individual choices to the big picture. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.